Hey everyone, Sprawlsy here and welcome to my book review video. I have been reading through the Chronicles of Narnia books, all 7 of them, and I read them in reading order and I did a review on all of them up until this one, which will be the last one. I will link below the other reviews I have done, and again I did them in reading order, starting off with The Magician's Nephew, followed by the classic The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and it's and then The Horse and His Boy, not a well-known sequel, but a sequel nonetheless, and then the well-known sequel, Prince Caspian, followed by Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, which to be honest I thought was a bit dull, and now finally The Last Battle, the final book of the Chronicles of Narnia. And a random little point to note, this book only cost 20p. Look at that, 20p. This is my parents' book, and they clearly bought it back in the time when books were very much cheaper. This now would probably be getting for 10 quid. Anyway, my review on The Last Battle, the last Narnia book. In a nutshell, the story is Narnia is coming to its final days, and this ape disguises a donkey as Aslan. Aslan is like the all-powerful lion king god of Narnia, but Aslan hasn't been seen for a very long time, and the creatures of Narnia take Aslan as their ultimate lord and will do whatever Aslan says. So this evil ape dresses up a donkey to resemble a lion so it can pass off as Aslan, and uses that to get the creatures of Narnia to do its evil work. This ultimately leads to men from a nearby land trying to take over Narnia, and leads to an ultimate final battle for the fate of Narnia between the last king of Narnia and the animals against these evil men from a neighbouring country. Okay, a couple of kids, Eustace and Jill, who were in the silver chair, returned for this one to help out the king of Narnia. The interesting thing I actually found from this, in the previous books, you actually see the story from the perspective of the kids from our world who travel to Narnia. This time, interestingly, it's the other way around. You read it from the perspective of the king of Narnia, and then these 2 kids from our world just suddenly appear to help him, which was very interesting to see it from that perspective, because it made it quite a bit different. Also, I actually found the book a fair bit darker and grimmer than the previous books, because it creates a world where you're like, how are they going to win this fight? Because it's done in a way where the king just keeps losing, or you think he's had a victory, but it turns out to be a better victory for the enemy. So for the ape and the people trying to take over Narnia, it's like they seem to be able to use everything against the king. And it's just quite a nice little take, seeing it from the perspective of the king of Narnia, but he was losing at every front. It was quite interesting. Won't give away how many. I'll rephrase that. At the moment, this review, I'm trying to keep spoiler free, but I'm about to give some spoilers. So if you don't want to see spoilers, turn off this video now. But if you want spoilers, or you've read this book before, carry on. So Eustace and Jill aren't the only characters from previous books you see. Peter, Lucy and Edmund return, so 3 characters from the classic original Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. But as per previous books, they're no longer allowed to return to Narnia, but they do feature in this book. As As at an earlier point in the book, the King Tyrion, sort of projects his consciousness into our world and into the presence of Peter, Edmund and Lucy. This kind of introduces them to the story, but then you don't see them till much later on. So, spoiler alert, after the final battle, as displayed in this, the King meets Peter, Edmund and Lucy, which is very nice. It's nice to see those three return. Also, some other characters return and pop in. One of the things I noticed about the return of Peter, Edmund and Lucy is that Susan is not there. She was a main character back in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe and Prince Caspian, but she does not feature in this book. But the book does address it. It says she's not there because she is no longer a friend of Narnia. And I was like, what? What? And it goes on to explain that she's kind of grown up and grown out of Narnia and just wants to do things probably typical of someone in their late teens, early 20s wanting to party type thing. But I thought, how rude. I don't really get why the author, C.S. Lewis, saw fit to get rid of Susan, and also to talk about her in quite a mean-spirited way. Kind of think if you've had these great adventures in Narnia, you would keep that memory forever and be sort of keen to have reunions when possible. It almost feels like C.S. Lewis took some issue with Susan and decided he wanted to get rid of her. I thought, seemed a bit out of place, to be honest. Well, it'd been much better if they retained Susan being a part of the story. But it also means that when you realise what happens at the very end, that Susan is left all on her own in this world. Because ultimate spoiler, Narnia gets destroyed and Aslan takes everyone to the real Narnia, which is effectively the afterlife. Because some event in the book means basically that all the characters from our world, Peter, Edmund, Lucy, Eustace and Jill, are dead. Were involved in a train incident and died. And so they got taken to the real Narnia, which is the afterlife, to meet everyone else again that they knew from Narnia. So you kind of reconvene with Reepicheep, a wisecracking sword-wielding mouse from Prince Caspian, and you meet Prince Caspian again, and also some characters from some other characters from the earlier books. Whilst I saw the death aspect and the real Narnia being like a heaven afterlife thing coming from a mile off, it also makes you think that Susan, who is now left in our world, has pretty much lost her entire family. Because it's also established that their parents died as well in that same train incident and are in heaven. So in summary, I very much enjoyed this book. I quite liked the fact it was darker, a bit more foreboding, and a bit more like you're kind of thinking, how are they going to win this? It's like impending death and all that, or impending loss really. Kind of trying to win but keep losing, and I just felt the entire thing was darker, grittier and grimmer, whereas the previous books were all much more lighter. I wouldn't say the Chronicles of Narnia are particularly light, there's actually a lot of death, fighting, grimness throughout the entire saga, but this one I just thought was much darker, and actually I really enjoyed reading it. So for the final chapters, mentioned with a lot of characters having died in the real world and going into heaven, or Narnia being depicted as a form of heaven, so had this Narnia world, then gets destroyed, with everyone being taken to what is the real Narnia. I didn't quite get that so much, why there's a real Narnia and then a fake Narnia or second Narnia. Didn't fully get the reasonings behind it, but the point is, people lived in the Narnia world, Narnia got destroyed, and they got taken to the afterlife, which again is Narnia. But I enjoyed it, and it's great to see a lot of characters crop up from earlier books, but the only disappointing aspect is the Susan aspect. So the way she was written out, and it just felt mean-spirited the way she wasn't included in this book. And it also means quite a grim ending for her. No longer being a friend of Narnia means she won't go to this real Narnia and is left in our world without any of her family. So all her siblings have died and gone to the Narnian afterlife, and so have her parents, and so have some of her other relatives as depicted in this book. Yeah, and I just thought, well, a bit harsh. And it felt a bit out of place. You know, all the other characters, you know, for 3 siblings, Eustace, Jill, and also 2 characters from the first book, Magician's Nephew. So in this book you had for 2 characters, for Magician's Nephew and whatever the girl's name. In this book they're very old, but they were here and went to the real Narnia as well. So I just feel a bit conflicted. I enjoyed the book, but just didn't like the treatment of Susan. Well, in a nutshell, satisfying conclusion to the end of Narnia. Very, very satisfying, ignoring the Susan bit. And I would highly recommend a read. Definitely one of my preferred books in the Narnia series. So if you're reading the whole of Narnia, definitely read this book. And it definitely has to be at the end, because it's the end of the entire Chronicles of Narnia. So that brings me to the end of my Chronicles of Narnia review. Very, very enjoyable saga, and highly recommend the read. I would struggle to put these in a preferred order, and yeah, even as I think about it right now, I know I can't. I would probably have to say, for top 3, Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, and The Last Battle. The next ones being probably For Horse and His Boy. I surprisingly enjoyed this one very much. Maybe then Voyage of the Dawn Treader and The Magician's Nephew, and in last place, The Silver Chair. That is my ultimate conclusion. Chronicles of Narnia, highly recommend for read, very enjoyable, and whilst written for children, everyone can enjoy them. And in one of these, as he says, C.S. Lewis wrote these for himself. And he said, trying to write for children creates the best stories. And he sort of wrote it as a story of what he himself would enjoy, which I guess led to this being a very popular series. So again, I highly recommend reading these books. And this now brings me to the end of my review of The Last Battle and the end of my series on the Chronicles of Narnia. If you've liked the videos, please do like and subscribe. If you've liked the videos and if you've liked the reviews, please do like and subscribe. Check out my other videos, and I'll be back for something new soon. Have a fantastic rest of your time, and I'll see you soon. Bye!